Oh, so it was me and Shadinja, and we were riding shotgun on a Tyrantrum, our Tyrantrum to be specific, not just any old Tyrantrum, Hannah. And we was in search of the next member of our heist gang, and we were shooting Gogurt straight out the tube like a bunch of naughty boys, disregarding the law. You know not to Gogurt and drive, right, Hannah?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, we were searching.
It gets kind of sticky.
Yes, and we were in a sticky situation because in our travels we were looking for every heist crew needs like the old grumpy veteran type dude that whips the young whippersnappers in lines and doesn't get our referential jokes. And we were way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. And you know who we happened to find straight out of the nursing home?
Who did we find?
Well, you weren't there, but I found Berserker.
Really?
Yeah, and he practically begged us to come out of retirement. We practically begged him, to come out of retirement, and he said, "I told you, I'm done. I'm out," with a cigar in his mouth, all that fancy stuff. So anyway, we disregarded his wishes, loaded up his walker onto the Tyrantrum, and off we went on to the next chapter of our heist. Bump heist. Hey everybody, welcome to be continued Pokemon After Dark Ride. This is a no holds barred, no nothing podcast where we talk about Pokemon and hurt the ones we love, and baby, we love everybody. My name is Bret. I'm the guy from West Virginia that does things for nothing, and that joining me as always is my co-host who loves bananas.
It's Hannah.
Hey, and joining us today is special guest straight from the bowels of Florida itself, the king of that place. I'm running out of things.
Florida history,
the king
legends
of Florida
and lore.
History, legends and lore. It's Mr. Wayne. Wayne, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Wayne, there's something that we got to get off the top real quick here. That
Okay.
You will be able to forever rub your appearance on After Dark Ryan Josh's face. Is that right?
That's right. Absolutely. Josh and I are natural rivals. We have been since birth, and so this is my chance to get a one-up on him.
That's right. Like, have you ever been on a Pokemon show? No, I have. Fantastic.
Yeah, I have, and you're a loser because you haven't.
Ooh, ouchies. It's gonna hurt. And your computer doesn't work. Feels bad.
He's got a piece of crap computer.
How are you doing today, bud? It's great to see you.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much. There's no other way I'd rather spend my Saturday. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys, and yeah, things are going well. How are you guys?
Oh, depressed. Hannah, how are you?
I'm good. I took my medicine this morning, so.
Oh, so not depressed. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Come on.
So yeah, if you guys have heard Wayne's voice before, just in case you haven't, he's from the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast, which is quite honestly a fantastic show. From the sound design, the personalities on the show, to the various segments that they include, from headlines to a good old fashioned what would you call your segment at the
Florida
end?
Fun.
Florida Fun.
Yeah. We most of our segments either cover Florida news or legends and lore, but we do have a segment in the middle that's kind of like get to know the host, icebreakers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's all fantastic. Personally, my favorite episode is when Josh's Tinder date took him onto a cult initiation ceremony. Either that one or when the Amish family thought that he was trying to marry their daughter.
Well, 100%.
Pretty good stuff.
And we enjoy it as well. I mean, like, it's one thing, like when something bad happens to somebody, it's just funnier when that person in general is funny. And so Josh always finds himself in precarious situations, whether it's accidentally joining a cult or accidentally marrying an Amish girl. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, who else could it happen to?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, headlines are great. I mean, it's
Thank you.
great to hear all of the crazy things that Florida men happen to get up to every week. And then you do that end segment there where you do the legends and lore and kind of keep us guessing up until the end when we go, oh, it was The Rock the whole time. It's really nice. It's good audio that you produce there. You put
Thank you.
together a really solid show, much more than we do. We just slap ass, throw something together, and put it on the internet and pretend it's good.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. We were fortunate. Cameron, he's an audio engineer by trade, so it's the only reason why he's on the show. He makes us sound good. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's he's a professional and he produces songs for a living, and so yeah, it kind of works out for us.
Fantastic. So that's Florida Man on Florida Man, and please, everyone that listens to our show, I know there's probably not a ton of crossover with Pokemon and Florida, but just in case even if you don't have a connection with Florida, you will love that show. So go check it out.
Thank you very much.
Review it, download it, listen to it, consume it all. Hannah listened to every single episode since I introduced her to it. And Hannah, how many times have you ever listened to me?
Never.
No, that one time. That one time when I said you have to listen to this. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna let you take credit for it. So.
No, okay, but I'm saying when I say, Hannah, you have to do this.
Okay, so I'm saying you have
I'm one
to
for
listen
one.
to
I'm being correct. Listen to me. Please, I'm begging you.
I love it.
Okay, listen. Yes.
Well,
Listen to the show. It's great.
Well, moving on in our show for a little bit, we'll circle back around to Florida shenanigans very, very shortly. But a couple days ago, as of this recording, time travel for you listeners, it was like a week or so ago. They did a Pokemon Direct where they announced all the new Pokemon thingamajiggies. They started off with a very nice 25-year anniversary vid. Then they showed a beautiful new Pokemon Snap trailer. Hannah, you like that one, yeah?
Yes, I'm so excited for Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, it looks very much like the original game. You're on rails, you're tossing berries, you're taking pictures, except times 1,000 because it's just absolutely beautiful. The graphics, the interactions, the amount of the expressiveness of the Pokemon themselves. It just looks like a very fun game in general. Then they blew everyone's brains out with the announcement of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the remakes for those, which come out later this year. But some people don't really like it because it's got like a chibi art style, like when in the overworld and stuff. It really doesn't bother me none, but should be fun there. I don't have a lot to say about that. It's a remake. They remake all the games at least a dozen times up till now. When they're finally doing this one, but. And then they announced a weird one, the first ever open world Pokemon game set in like ancient Sinnoh. It looks like feudal Japan almost. Really weird, like prequel style Pokemon game that we've never gotten from them before. And the fact that it's open world is real exciting. It's called Legends Arceus or however you pronounce that. And shoot, the internet exploded. I'll tell you that much. People have been wanting an open world Pokemon game for a long time.
It looks phenomenal.
You saw the trailer, Wayne?
It looks phenomenal. Yeah, that's right up my alley. Like I was raised on like JRPGs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so any kind of open world game, I kind of felt the same way about Arceus as I did the first time I saw Breath of the Wild. It's like everything you dreamed about as a kid coming true.
It's definitely getting comparisons to Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely see where with Sword and Shield, the wild areas, they were kind of building a foundation for something like this, but it's hard to believe that something like this would happen until they finally announced it, and they finally did. Now we just need to hope that it's not a huge pain in the ass hassle to hook up with your friends online like it is for every other Nintendo game, or home compatibility so we can transfer Pokemon from other games to it. Hopefully we don't have to wait, 12 months for that to get implemented. 12 months? Why didn't I just say a year? What is wrong with me? And are you okay? Your camera was bouncing for a second.
Because I keep putting my foot up on my desk.
Oh, OnlyFans content. Are you double dipping right now? You're not supposed to be doing that.
I'm trying to.
You're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be filming this show right now. That's rude to Wayne. That's rude to me, and I don't appreciate it at all.
Listen, you got to make money.
Yeah, I have a shoe problem, so
girls got to work.
Hannah, do you got anything for me? This is your part of the show to shine. I'm making it so.
Yeah, like about the stuff. I mean, I really just play Pokemon Go mostly. I don't have a whole lot of time to play video games. So, but I think Pokemon Snap might have me go out and buy a Switch.
Ooh,
like it
might.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think you're gonna get? $200 to $300 worth of enjoyment from Pokemon Snap, or are you gonna get other games too?
Yeah, I literally, like, right now I could probably pull out the 64, put in my old Pokemon Snap, and remember every single thing.
Okay. All
Like,
right. I
remember driving through the
I won't
tunnels,
question you.
taking pictures, throwing an apple at Snorlax to wake him up.
I'm gonna throw an apple at you. It'll keep the doctor away. Hannah, that reminds me, we forgot to do that thing that we do. We've been recording so kind of like out of order lately that it's been kind of slipping my mind. And that's how you doing? How'd you doing? You catch anything? I don't even remember what we talked about last time because the episodes are fucking out of order.
Yeah, my shiny streak has like stopped, so that's awesome.
Great. Hopefully it transfers to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I've been so busy at work like this week, I haven't really been able to play a whole lot. I did finish my quest, the Kanto quest or whatever.
Where you evolve them?
No, the short one that they did for everybody that didn't pay like $12.
Okay.
For the Kanto tour.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I did all that stuff too. I have been having an issue where my game bugs out and it won't, like, I'll click a Pokemon. If I run away from it, then I can't click anything else. And it's been a huge pain. So I haven't been playing much either because of that. As of yesterday, it seems like it's starting to work again. And yes, I've restarted. I'm not a complete moron. And I've uninstalled and reinstalled. And I don't know what it is. Maybe after the update, it started working or something, or bugged out because of that update. I don't know. But
how far?
I suck.
How far along are you in your all-in-one quest to get Shiny Mew?
Okay, so I know I host a show about Pokemon, but what the hell is that?
To get Shiny Mew.
Oh, that one. I'm stuck on sending gifts to friends still.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I've sent out of the one. I'll tell you in just a second. Hang on a second.
I've sent 100.
I am a professional. I'm at 72 out of 151. Is that the dozer?
Yeah.
One of the pod dogs themselves?
FedEx is here. He's going nuts.
Fantastic. My pod dog is in here somewhere. Oh, here for the YouTube watchers. There's the dog bed, and then there's the dog.
That's how it always works, though.
Yeah, so she's very nice and comfy off the bed.
Do you guys live near like an active Pokemon Go community? You're able to kind of jump in and out?
Sort of. There's like a Facebook group. More ever since they kind of opened up on like remote raids and stuff like that. We kind of we play with mostly our friend group, who's kind of spread out.
Yeah, our area downtown is relatively active, but they get kind of bully-ish. Like, I'm a grown man, and I've had children yell at me.
It sounds like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it really is. And to the point where I'm like, man, like, if 3 of them were to attack me right now, I'm not sure that I would be able to defend myself.
I'm sure they were like, why did you bring an Aggron to this raid, you noob?
Do you know what's funny? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm a collector at heart. I'm not, I don't really try to min-max Pokemon. Like, I catch them. If they're cute, I keep them. And that's the story of my life. And I literally got invited to a raid.
That's what you said when your kids were born, right?
100%. I'm like, if you're either cute or you're going off the cliff. So I get invited to this raid, and I said to one of the girls, I said, anyone in particular you want me to use? She was like, just bring your favorite. That's what she said to me. Bring your favorite. No. So I had just caught it's like the evolved version of the Mareep, I think it's Flaffy.
Yeah.
Super cute. Terrible Pokemon. Okay. I get destroyed instantly. And the whole group is like, what the hell's wrong with you, bro? Like, so serious. And I'm just like, she literally just said, bring your favorite. And I'm like, that was my favorite right now. It's walking around with me and everything.
Well, that's not cool. People shouldn't. It's a game first and foremost, and it's meant to bring people together. Right. People shouldn't be bullying you for bringing a Flaffy, especially if there's enough people there to beat it. Like, who cares what you bring? As long as you're having fun and everyone else is having fun, then who cares what someone else brings?
That's how I feel about it. But I love this idea of it devolving into this kind of dystopian, like, Pokemon gangs roaming the cities.
It definitely was. When the game first came out, I lived
Oh my
in
gosh.
North Carolina, and it was just hundreds of people in the streets and in parks, like just walking around. You knew everyone was on their phones. Everyone was just catching Pokemon and fighting over gyms. And I mean, like practically flashing gang signs with people like, "Yo, Team Mystic, bitch, stay the
I know.
out of here."
Dude, I had so many people like in those early days that were playing who have never been exposed to Pokemon, you know, outside. I mean, I had this one lady who was like super religious, which is fine, but like she came from the old school like Pokemon or demons crowd, and she was down in the park playing, and I wanted so bad to be like you, like of all people, but I'm like, no,
man.
I was like, I support it, bro. Like everybody's
You
showing
should
up.
have been like, "The devil has you now."
They're inside. They're inside of you now.
Just whisper into her ear like, "Elijah," and just walk away.
You're in big trouble.
See, when it first came, like I have been playing since the get-go, but
Right.
I don't think Brett and I had met each other yet.
No.
So I didn't really have, like, I had never battled in a raid because I didn't have other people that I knew played this, because I work in a hospital with other girls, and most girls aren't into the things I'm into.
I hope there are girls working in hospitals, honestly. By 2021, I sure hope so.
Well, no, I mean, like, that are into what I'm the nerdiest person in my group, like, or in my office, or not
You?
office.
What?
Yeah.
Miss Star Wars Legos? No.
So I like, you know, I talk to everybody. Like, I have one guy in housekeeping. We talk about WandaVision every week. We've talked about The Mandalorian every week. And then all my coworkers are like, what are they talking about? And I'm just like, so.
You're just like, Grogu's so cute. I love his little pointy ears.
He is adorable.
Oh.
But, so
He
until
was kidnapped.
Brett and I like met, he was my first friend, and his mom was too. His mom plays.
Hi, Mom.
So, hi, Mom. So it's like mostly Brett's family and like friends that we've met together. So
Let me stop you right there real quick. You are family.
Okay.
Come on.
Yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his mom loves me and I love her. She's the best.
Wayne, do you need to be adopted into a family? Because we got a spot for you, brother.
Listen, I want to be a part of everyone's family. I just life's too stressful and short to just not be, you know, happy and loving people.
Yeah.
Talking about Pokemon and nerdy stuff.
Hell yeah. That's what we do here.
Honestly, dude, like that's the thing, man. Is like I never really quite understood that. You know, people were like, "Oh, like you're into nerdy stuff." It's like I'm into stuff that I enjoy. Why are you so mean? You know what I mean? Like it's such a weird vibe. I think secretly they want to be into it openly. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's gotten a lot better though, because you would used to have to keep your nerdism a secret. And then I think along with the advent of the popularity of like Marvel movies and stuff, suddenly it's cool to like comic books. It's cool to like superheroes. It's cool to like anime. It's cool to like all these things now. So it frees up people who otherwise wouldn't be open to enjoying those things. They start like jocks weren't allowed to like be in the cartoons and stuff because they're jocks and they're too cool for that stuff. Nowadays, who cares? Like jocks love Adventure Time. They love, you know, I mean, I love football and Pokemon. Like,
which is amazing. That's the thing, man. Is like I mean, you know what's exhausting? Pretending to like sports in high school, because that is exhausting. But you know what's funny is I actually talked to a kid the other day who is one of the star football players in our hometown currently. He's a young guy. And
I hope so if he's playing in high school, unless
he's 36.
He's 36, like
but he
got the disguise on.
This guy is like the popular kid in school, and he also runs a Naruto group where they just read manga and hang out. And I'm like, dude, hell yeah, that's so cool, man. Like
Naruto's pretty old though. He could be an old man in disguise.
Bro, I just outed him.
Yeah, he's like
outed him on your show.
He's like undercover, like looking for. He's like, man, I love Naruto. Where do you keep the drugs?
Yeah, I just outed
boomerang, go.
An FBI undercover drug sting.
Could be.
I'm going to prison.
Oh man, you've blown his cover.
I love it.
Oh man. So hey, I designed for the two of you, not to skip too far ahead here, and bypass this current conversation, but I made a game specifically for this show, and it's called WVMQFMAWVWOFMAWVM. Otherwise, West Virginia Man quizzes Florida Man and West Virginia Woman on Florida Men and West Virginia Man.
Okay, now you have to say it like FMoFM.
I love
Close
it.
enough.
All right, so just kind of taking a page from the Florida Men's playbook, I have here a series of headlines. However, I've gamified it to a degree. Wayne, you and my lovely co-host Hannah will compete here in a friendly competition. I will read you a headline and the story they're in. However, I will not tell you where it's from. It will be up to you two to decide whether the article is a West Virginia man, a Florida man, or both.
Okay.
Okay.
Hannah, you ready?
Yes, but I do have to say, you guys talk about, well, of course, most of your articles like involve people on meth. It's the same up here. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. It's like, well, that could have happened in West Virginia, but
so real quick, Hannah, you reminded me. So I feel exactly the same way about our state as probably a lot of Florida people feel about their state.
Yeah.
In regards to the whacked out crimes that seem to happen all the time.
Right.
But in doing my research for the articles for this show, this segment, I've realized most of our crimes revolve around meth and sadness to the point where they're not funny anymore. Like being high on meth and bringing an alligator through drive-thru and buying chicken nuggets is hilarious. Being high on meth and murdering your husband because you want to marry your dad is just sad. And I didn't want to talk about that one.
But you know what?
No, go ahead, Wayne. I was just going to say, because you guys have explained how Florida, how you guys are able to get those crazy articles because Florida has, I don't know, if you could explain that again. I'm not good at it. Like,
sure, yeah, it's actually a sunshine state law that promotes transparency in journalism, and so basically what happens is where other states are able to not necessarily report on some of those shenanigans, Florida is required to do so legally. So I think it's a mixture of something being in our water, and then also to just journalistic, transparency for the most part. And plus now it's become like a meme, you know what I mean? So like, when someone brings an alligator through a drive-through, everybody wants to be the first one on the story, because it's just insane.
It gets those clicks, baby.
That's what it's all about. It's money.
Money.
Yeah.
Money. All right, so here we go. First one. All right. So the deputies were called to this place, a gentleman's club, shortly after 9 p.m. last Tuesday, after the owner told the man, who was 47, to leave with a cat he had brought. Yes, in fact, he brought a cat to a strip club and was denied entry. He started a ruckus after he appeared to be intoxicated. They told him he needed to leave the premises immediately and even attempted to assist in calling him a taxi. When the taxi arrived, he would not cooperate with the driver. Instead, he began yelling and causing a disturbance, insisting that the club owner had committed a crime by denying him entry to him and his cat. He kept on calling 911 on his cell phone, even though the deputies were already on the scene. The man was placed under arrest and had to be forcibly restrained. He was booked into the county jail on charges of misuse of the 911 system, disorderly intoxication, trespassing after warning, and resisting arrest without violence. He's being held on $4,000 bond, and the kitten is reportedly in the custody of animal control.
So he brought his own pussy to a strip club.
It seems like he found a cat. But you're right, yeah. And most strip clubs have a bring your own a policy against BYOB, much less BYOP.
That's right. As much as I want that to be from Florida, every now and then, this is true. I hear crazy stories from other states and I get jealous. Like I get envious. I'm like, I want to cover that on our show. I don't, because I haven't heard it. I'm going to guess that it's from not Florida. I'm going to say West Virginia.
Okay, Hannah, what do you think?
Well, there's only so few gentlemen's clubs in West Virginia that
we used to have the most strip clubs per capita.
Well, that aren't like
used to.
That aren't like shady AF. Like, so I'm gonna say Florida.
There used to be a whole town that was nothing but strip clubs here. You remember, Hannah? Jefferson
Jefferson
had like 10 strip
There's
clubs.
some of them are still there.
No, they're gone. They're gone. They're all gone. They've all been bulldozed.
Oh, are they? Because
the owner got arrested for having a hidden wall in his basement in his mansion in his private fucking forest compound where he held a bunch of assault weapons and drugs and heroin.
Oh my god, that same dude.
That should have been the story.
Those?
Yeah, that should have been the story. Yeah, the guy that lived right next to me. I should have made that one of them. Damn it.
You should have. That was huge. They brought in a tank. To raid this dude's house.
That was an interesting drive home from work when I passed his house.
Yeah.
SWAT vehicles.
That's like
Hannah,
the best one.
West Virginia or Florida man?
Florida man.
Hannah, that's 1 point for you because this.
Oh, come on.
This, in fact, was Murdoch, Florida, is where this happened.
Come on, no way.
Emerald City Gentlemen's Club in South Florida's Gulf Coast.
You can't bring a pet there, my guy. You got to leave it at home.
No animals allowed.
Do you think he just like found that cat and was like, "You're coming with me," and the cat's like, meow.
Maybe, but you know why I'm surprised that's Florida? Because I just feel like in Florida, if someone brought a pet to a strip club, they would just be like, "Yeah, that makes sense." You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised they objected. That's really like,
or you would think it was a cougar.
Sure, exactly. Right.
All right. Moving on. A man was arrested for owning 17 rattlesnakes, which is 16 more than the rattlesnake limit in this state. According to the Natural Resources Police, officers began an investigation into a man who they say was catching snakes from the National Forest and was then taking them back to his home. They met the man at his home where they found 17 rattlesnakes. The man was charged with 2 counts of illegal possession of a timber rattlesnake and possession of a rattlesnake less than 42 inches. Police say the snakes were taken back to their den around the area where the man caught them. Police want to remind everyone that in the state, you are only allowed to possess 1 rattlesnake, and it must be 42 inches or more in length. So you are licensed to carry a rattlesnake, but only one and only of a certain length. So what state is this?
Okay, I have a reason why I'm going to say West Virginia. I just watched a documentary not too long ago about these mountain preachers that have rattlesnakes. And I'm just going to associate it and say it's West Virginia.
Okay, Hannah?
I'd say West Virginia too, because I kind of have a feeling of what state forest this came from.
That's a point for both of you. This is in Randolph County, and the man apparently was feeling a bit greedy. He hit the rattlesnake lottery and just took them all home.
Why?
Your guess is as good as mine. It does not say as to why the man felt the need to own 17 rattlesnakes, but...
Well, Wayne brought up a good point. I wonder if you could Google him. I wonder if he is a preacher.
You know what, though? That's the thing is, like, I don't know that that's unique to West Virginia, but a friend of mine sent me this documentary, and they're real into it, man. That was what they did. They had church services, and they pulled out snakes, and
last I remember, we were the only, if not one of only like 2 or 3 where snake handling is legal.
I think Kentucky maybe one too.
Kentucky maybe. I can't remember. Like Kentucky and Virginia used to do it a lot as well, but I don't remember if it's still legal in those places.
Yeah, because I mean it's been a minute, but I remember when that started becoming bigger, like I think there was a couple counties pretty close to us that it was happening, and there was a preacher that got bit and he died. Yeah.
So you know what's crazy, and this is kind of a weird side note, I'm sorry, but one of the most badass things I've seen in film came from that documentary. It's not really, I mean, I guess it's funny, I don't know. So this guy gets bit, this pastor gets bit by a rattlesnake, and he's not doing well, obviously. And he says to his deacons, "Take me to the mountaintop and let the Lord decide." And I'm like, that's the most badass thing I've ever heard someone say. Like, what?
Is that a t-shirt? That sounds like a t-shirt.
I know. Immediately, I'm like, no, get me to the hospital, my guy. Are you serious? Like, man.
Hannah, t-shirt idea, Ekans handler.
Ooh,
oh, dude, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, with like a little pointy church in the background.
We'll have to work on that.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, shoot. Let's see here. Do you think that they left him one rattlesnake? Like they took 16 rattlesnakes and like, well, we can't take the one.
Only if it was 42 inches long or something?
It had to be over 42 inches.
Over 42 inches, yeah.
Correct.
That's so gross. Ugh.
Yeah, it's
not
nasty.
I don't know if it's gross. The man just
I
likes
hate
his,
snakes.
his
I
reptiles.
hate snakes.
All right, moving on. Okay, this man is in custody after state police said he assaulted a resident with a hammer Friday afternoon. Troopers with this city's detachment responded to a malicious assault complaint. According to the criminal complaint, I'm skipping addresses and things. When the troopers arrived, the deputies had already detained the suspect. According to the troopers who spoke with the victim, he said that he was just at home and he had given the man, who was a guest in his home, a drink and cigarettes. When the man who was given the drink and cigarettes suddenly stood up and hit the first man in the head with a hammer, he said he had no clue why, because they hadn't even been arguing. According
Did he? Sorry. Did he say hammer? Yell out hammer time?
Very good. Did he say stop? Was he handing him the cigarettes and the drink, and then the man said stop, and then hit him with a hammer?
Hammer time.
He didn't want the cigarettes, obviously, or the drink. Maybe he's trying to quit and didn't appreciate the gesture. According to other statements given during the investigation, the victim gave the man cigarettes and was going to let him use his phone. When, according to the statement, the assaulting man hit him in the head with the hammer. They identified the hammer on the front steps of the home for the troopers after the fact. He suffered a 1-inch laceration to the top of his head, which is bleeding significantly, as one does after being hit with a hammer, and down the front of his face. The perpetrator is being held in regional jail with bail set at $25,000. Is this a West Virginia story, a Florida story, or both story?
Hannah, do you want to go first?
I don't know. Oh, I'm pretty sure I saw this on the news. I think it's West Virginia.
So I almost feel obligated to say Florida, because I feel like if I say West Virginia, it sounds almost like an insult, like, oh, that definitely happened in West Virginia. But here's the thing. I'm kind of not impressed with this guy. He whacked somebody in the head with a hammer and nothing happened. The guy was able to do an interview afterwards and was like, yeah, like, he hit me with a hammer for no reason. But I'm gonna say Florida on that one.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll go ahead and give a both to both of you, because it's in fact both.
Okay, wasn't the guy like a fugitive from Florida?
A Florida man is in custody after West Virginia State Police said he assaulted an Elkins resident with a hammer Friday afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Crossing the border. Corey Smith, 23, of Jacksonville, Florida, assaulted Devin Scott, a Elkins man. So
come on. We call those people missionaries.
Doing the Lord's work, as it were.
You're just spreading Florida man love.
Yeah, he really doesn't approve of smoking. You shouldn't smoke. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
A lot less people would smoke if you get threatened to hit in the head with a hammer. You know what I mean? Like that's an interesting way to get off of nicotine.
I know. I wouldn't smoke if you threatened to hit me with a hammer. That's true.
Goodness gracious, yeah.
This last one is a bit of a history story. This is kind of in your wheelhouse, Wayne.
Come on.
All right, so I'm gonna read it to you, and you're gonna tell me if this took place in West Virginia or Florida or both, and I'm gonna help you all out. It's not both. In the 1800s, in the last part of the 1800s, a farmer came up with a unique embalming technique and requested some bodies from a nearby insane asylum. The man had spent years practicing his new embalming methods on fruits and vegetables until he had it just how he wanted. This process, despite all assumptions to the contrary, worked. Once completed, because he was in fact given corpses from the nearby insane asylum, he completed his work, as it were, and this gave birth to the Mummies. They're called the Mummies of place name. These mummies traveled with P.T. Barnum and his circus. The man's process attracted the attention of the Smithsonian Institute, which offered to display his work if he would reveal the mysterious formula of his personal embalming potion. He refused. Instead, they were returned to their area of origin, where they were kept safe but forgotten. No one can be sure that the mummies of blank, as they are called now, are the same insane mummies that he created, but all evidence would suggest that they are. I don't know how many insane mummies are hanging around this place, but anyway. Several decades passed before the mummies were found again, kept safe inside of an old barn. A local citizen had acquired them, keeping them under his or her bed, as the story goes. This place
Oh
is
my God.
this place is near a river, and one year that river flooded the entire town, including the space where the mummies were kept. I'm assuming in either the barn or under the person's bed. The waterlogged mummies were put out in the front lawn of the town's post office so that they could dry out. So you just gotta go deliver some mail.
My
There's some
God.
mummies in the front just drying out.
Oh my God.
And then when finally an 82-year-old museum curator explained in 1994, after the flood dropped, they were covered with green fungus and all kinds of corruption. Another mysterious man, who they do not name, secured some kind of mixture that would get the green mold off of them and also the hairs that were growing on them. Another flood destroyed part of the museum the mummies were being kept in, and they ended up in the care of the Historical Society, which managed to restore them. These mummies are on display in a small room of this Historical Society with a dehumidifier. I'm assuming they're just tossing some salt packets in there, like some jerky. The mummies
No, like those silica packets that come in.
That's
like,
right.
Right.
The mummies look almost wooden, have no hair, but they are of women, and there is a letter accompanying one of them that is supposedly from the woman to her brother while she was staying at the Weston Insane Asylum. And you can still go see these people at route insert number here. The museum has very limited hours. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Free admission, but they ask for $1 per person to see the mummies. And they specifically mention cash only. So to this day, I'm assuming, COVID protocols, maybe you probably can't, but.
Good Lord.
So yeah, what a wild story. And it's totally true. You can see pictures of them. But the big question is are these mummies of West Virginia or Florida origin?
I hope to God it's Florida. Like, I have never wanted something to be from Florida more than ever, but I've never heard of it. So I'm going to guess West Virginia, but I hope I'm wrong.
Anna?
I'm kind of on the fence because it is really crazy, but we had a lot of insane asylums up here.
We're like the Australia of America, probably.
I literally, the county I grew up in, there was a big one. Like, it was the biggest insane
Did you mean
asylum.
the canny?
The
canny you grew up in?
The county.
The county?
Had one of the biggest insane asylums, like, on the East Coast. I'm going to go with West Virginia.
You talking about Lakin?
No, okay. Spencer.
Apologies, madam. The correct answer is, in fact, West Virginia. Great job, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. We're going to have to go see some mummies.
These are the legendary mummies of Philippi. So Philippi, West Virginia is a town in West Virginia.
That's not that far away
place
from
that
us.
exists. It's right next to the Hardys. Don't ask where the meat comes from. The man's name was Graham Hamrick, the person who created the mummies from the insane asylum. And you can, in fact, Google pictures of the mummies of Philippi, and they're in their glass caskets on display for the world to see. They don't look creepy at all. Spoiler warning, they actually do look super creepy because they're dead mummy people.
Yeah.
So for as little as $1 to free, you can go check out the mummies of Philippi.
So what that kind of reminds me of is that doll you guys have talked about on your show. You've mentioned him twice. That episode absolutely, I can't remember his name. Like, that episode absolutely scares the shit out of me.
His name is Robert.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, I had to turn it off. I was driving to work and it's dark when I leave my house. I had to turn it off because I was like, he's in the back seat. Like, it just scared me so bad.
That reminds me of when my mom put that doll in my back seat and didn't tell me about it.
You know what? Robert is actually the legend that the movie's Chucky, based off of. But I've always pictured him like the doll from the Goosebumps books. Remember that? The Night of the Living.
Yeah. Slappy? Was it Slappy?
Slappy. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
That's how I always kind of imagined him. So it kind of ruins it for me. Like, but a lot of people, he's pretty popular around these parts.
I will say that is a crazy story too. But also just keep in mind that the mummies of Philippi are dead bodies. Instead, that it drives me crazy that someone collected them. They're like, "Oh, what do you got there? Dead bodies? Sure, I'll buy them. I'll just put them underneath my bed for a while.
Yeah, let's
Like
just
treated them
storm
like
that.
any old other collectible, like they were dolls, you know. Well, they got wet. I guess I'll put them out in the yard of the post office to dry out for a while.
And
Well,
the thing is, and no one did anything about it. They just sat outside the post office.
Insane.
Yeah.
Truly insane. Keep in mind, these were some of the more fun stories I found, the ones that took place in West Virginia. A lot of them are just really, really, really sad ones, you know, of murder and meth.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can't really blame people when they've been desensitized to crazy. It's not their fault. They were born and raised there. So like they go to drop off a letter at the post office, they see some mummies and they're just like, yeah, I mean, okay.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? I mean, I guess that's, you know, it's kind of how Florida is. You run into something crazy and you're just like, yeah, well, that's how things are, you know?
And even crazier is one of the mummies still has a letter that she wrote to her brother.
That's sad.
And
that's like so weird. Like
how has this mummy held on to this letter for this long through being flooded over twice?
Yeah.
And they just didn't think to give it to the brother at any point at all?
Yeah, somebody should read it. Somebody should
right?
pass it on.
Like she cared enough to write her brother a letter. Send the damn letter to her brother. Damn.
The letter actually said, "Hey, if something ever happens to me, please bury me good." I'm begging you.
You know what I really hate? Beef jerky.
Yeah, please. Dear Lord, help me.
I feel like there's a monster under my bed. Hope it's not me. Hey, folks, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll roll the random Pokemon of the day, and stuff will ensue.